I watched a movie last night. Debatable. I Know What You Did Last Summer is about a group of friends who are terrorized by someone who knows what they did last summer. There's no way that I can give my honest opinion about this movie without spoiling it. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, save this video and come back to it later because I have to spoil it in order to get my true feelings out. Let's just start. Okay, so if you were there for the original I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1997, you are a fan of this movie, then this movie was not a good movie. But if you are one of those people who maybe watched it when it came out, didn't really care for it, or saw it randomly on TBS one day and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that movie, or you're a younger generation that's only heard of this movie and kind of know what it's about, then you probably like this movie. My first question, why didn't the killer use his hook for every kill? The whole lore and scary thing about this man is he was gutting these bitches like fishes with this hook. So then why in this movie is he sometimes killing people with spears, sometimes killing people with knives, and then sometimes choking people with wire? You know what I mean? Like, why are we switching it up? You need to be killing everybody with this hook because that's what you do. You're a man in a slicker with a hook. That's what's scary about you. Nobody's thinking like, oh no, a man with a slicker and some rope to choke me out with. Immediately a no. Immediately the cast already had a strike against them just because we are automatically going to be comparing them to the original cast, and that is out of the cast's hands. The cast could have done the best acting that they've ever done in their life that deserved Oscars, but they aren't going to get it because we, the audience, the fans, are automatically going to compare them. Are they Julie? Are they Ray? Are they Bear? What's his name? Barry. Are they Sarah Michelle Gellar? You know what I mean? And I feel like they were written that way. I didn't feel like these characters were made from, a dream or whatever. I feel like people were like, oh, we need to copy and paste the original of how they did it, and then we need to tack on the fifth member for the storyline. I felt like these actors, these characters were set up for failure because they were already copy and paste from the original movie, which a lot of the stuff was copy and pasted from the original movie. This movie didn't get its own identity until maybe 45 minutes in, because all of the beginning movie, the introduction and stuff, everything looked like the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. I will say I like how they kept that 90s nostalgia feeling with the opening being over, the shot being over water and then we come up, blah blah blah. It did a good job with that. But then again, if I wanted to see I Know What You Did Last Summer for 1997, I would be watching I Know What You Did Last Summer for 1997. I wouldn't be watching a remake, in 2025, you know what I mean? So it was kind of annoying that it was so copied up until 45 minutes in. The whole element and the whole reason why this movie is a movie is because these characters were supposed to have done something bad and felt guilt and shame about it. But the thing is, these people didn't do anything bad. They didn't run the guy off the road. The guy swerved because he was about to hit somebody because he was going too fast around the corner, dodged a dumbass that was standing in the middle of the road, and then went off the edge of the cliff. However, the characters called 911 and immediately an ambulance came, you know what I mean? And yes, they didn't go to the police department to make a statement, but they didn't necessarily have to, because they did the right thing by calling the police and getting all the help that they could get. You know what I mean? So they didn't do anything to deserve to be haunted this whole time talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, because it would have fit had they just left the dude. You know what I mean? Had they just left the dude down there to die, but they called for help. That's not enough. And these people weren't even bad people either. Nothing happened to them. They didn't lose anything. Danica had a fiance, lost that fiance, but then got another fiance, rich fiance, so she was still rich a year later. Milo, who the fuck is Milo? We don't know. Tyreek was rich, stayed rich, lives on a yacht. Nothing changed dramatically in his life to make him sad. Ava, she's bisexual and likes to be choked. Oh wow, how her life really did change. What are you talking about? Nothing happened for them to be affected so badly. And then the one girl, Stevie or whatever, y'all just put her in there just so you can have her there. Like that was like that plot device was obvious. Let's move on. Sarah Michelle Gellar, you should have said no. You should have said no. You said, you should have been like, my character is already dead. She should have said dead because what they had you do, girl, stupid. You look great though. You look amazing, girl, but stupid. Jennifer, they didn't even use you. They didn't use you, Julie. The only thing that they needed you for is to bring people into the audience because we didn't even see you running for your life. We didn't even see you scream out of fear. They had you screaming because you were, giving a lecture like for a transition. But Sarah and Jennifer, y'all should have said no to this project. Man, the script was bad. The script, all the dialogue, it was just trying to like insert sound bites to make the trailer look really alluring to get people to come to watch it in theater, because that's all that this dialogue was just sound bites that were obvious sound bites because it matched with the music that they put up there. It was just like, oh, I need to start drinking or da da da. But all the stuff that we saw in the trailer was pretty much what the movie was. It was just boring. So let's get to the nitty gritty. As a fan, as a person who watched I Know What You Did and I Still Know What You Did every time it would come on, as a person who would watch that yearly, I'm pissed that you would make Ray evil, that you would make Ray and the Man in the Slicker. I'm upset because I had no problem just believing that Julian Ray lived happily ever after killing the Slicker and the Slicker Man's son and I Know What You Did and I Still Know What You Did. Like, I had no problem believing that Ray and Julie were having babies and living life grand. I didn't need to now be tainted with a bitter Ray who's killing innocent children. Sir? Excuse me? It just was very out of character. The character that we have been with for 28 years, for him all of a sudden to not be horror's sweetheart and have him be the evil. You know what I mean? That really pissed me off as an avid fan. Now saying that, as a writer and as a business person, very bold choice, a very smart move. Of course, why wouldn't you take horror sweetheart and make him the bad guy in this movie? And that was brilliant. That was such a good idea because nobody saw that coming. You can lie and tell me you saw it coming, but you're lying. Nobody saw Ray under that mask. Nobody knew that Ray and Julie broke up. And I loved it as a selling point and as a story. But as a fan, fuck you. I really liked how they incorporated Brandy in the after credits sequence because I had totally forgot that she was supposed to be working on this, and I love how they brought her into the end and she was watching it on the news, and that was funny. Like, this, someone's always trying to kill Julie. However, if y'all did that to set us up for another movie in this franchise, keep it. Keep it. Because keep it. Because keep it. Because we don't need it. Just like we didn't need this movie, we definitely don't need another movie. Let those women move on, okay? Let them move on. Is my review contradictive? Yes, of course it is. As a fan, I felt like this movie was unnecessary and you didn't need to disrupt my thought process of what Julian Ray had ended up as. So yes, as a fan, no, I did not like this movie. As a writer and just as a movie watcher in all, I understand the story. I liked the story. I thought this was a better sequel than most movie sequels have. The third, I Know What You Did Last Summer. What is it called? I Really Know What You Did Last Summer, or I Actually Know What You Did Last Summer. The third installment that, you know what I mean? This absolutely trumps that installment, but as a viewer, it wasn't a perfect movie. It was not even that great of a script. It just had a really good twist at the end. And if your movie has a good ending, it saves you a little bit. What did you think of this movie? I want to know from the fans of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I also want to know from people who are just like, oh, I've seen that movie, but I don't care and watch this movie. I need to know. I'm Hey Shantae, and what movie did you watch?